Welcome to our listeners, welcome viewers. It's, of course, welcome to the Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. This segment comes to the kind compliments of folks of the Wireman's house. Let me say good morning to my usual co-host, I'd like to refer to you as now. Co-hosting the program with me.
Good morning.
Good morning to both of you. How you doing?
We're good. We're good.
It's hot.
I outside it's hot.
I've been in here since I got into work this morning, so I can't tell you how outside it is.
Outside it's really
It's
hot.
just kind of nice in here, so I'm just staying really where the temperature is right.
Yeah.
So how's everything and how's everything with you once again? You say it's hot. How is everyone at the Wireman's house doing this morning?
We're great.
Did we get to speak to everyone this morning?
Yes,
I cannot put you on the spot there. You saw everybody at the Wireman's house this morning?
Of course, everyone is good.
Yeah, even Sam.
Lucky you.
Sam was there waiting.
There's an employee by the name of Sam.
Yeah.
All right. I guess
He might
the
not say
name song has somebody who gives trouble.
he might not say anything. He might not say anything, but he's a good soul.
He's a good soul.
Yeah.
So good morning to Sam. Maybe one of these days you should bring Sam on the program, man.
Sam has been on the program.
He has been on the program.
Yeah.
Well, since I've been hosting, I've never seen Sam.
So we had to bring Sam back.
You had to bring Sam on in.
Okay.
So, as usual, we have lots to feature today in terms of what's available at the Wireman's house. What are we featuring for our listeners and viewers today?
Okay, so basically what we're doing something a little bit different, right? No matter, yes, we do have that particular item, right? But it's as a more of a awareness and educating our customers, the home owners, everybody basically, right? And this particular item, it's no doubt about it, is a must-have at your home.
More on a safety level.
Yeah, more on a, as Ms. Duncan said, right? So this is basically fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguishers.
Yes.
And the Wireman host do carry.
Yes, we do
carry fire extinguishers.
Yes, we do carry. Right. So we have one particular type, which is the powder. Yeah. So this is particular type that we have. We also have a short clip on it. So we headed over to Master Control.
Oh, sure. Let's see Master Control out, of course, feature in terms of the fire extinguisher. And you're talking about the powder type.
The powder type.
Correct, yeah.
Being specific until we get that video presentation from Master Control, give us a little bit of a description on that particular type of fire extinguisher.
All right. So basically, the powder type, it's all fire extinguishers color coded. Yeah. So basically, for the powder one that we have, which is blue.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a blue. So if you're seeing the blue as you can see on the screen, right? So that's
that one we refer to as dry powder.
Yes. And also, Ms. Duncan, what's the different aspect that you can use on that powder type?
So then this one is basically used for like wood, paper, cloth. That is what it can basically out. Also grease, oil, paint and solvents, and magnesium, also aluminum, also electrical panel, right? Motor and wiring, etc. Right. So this type in particular, that is what it's mainly used for.
All right. So you could use for this extinguishing fires on those particular items. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And also, if you're wondering what the other colors there is, all right, so we also have the red, right? We have the red one. So that is basically the water CO2.
CO2.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Ms. Duncan, which one that you can use with that one?
So this one is basically for the grease, oil, paint, solvent, and also electrical panels, motor and wiring as well. Wiring, etc.
I'm seeing on it's showing safe on all voltage.
All voltage.
I mean, so even though you spray it on something electric, it may not cause an issue, but it will distinguish the fire.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And normally, if you have let's say electrical fire, right? The main thing to do is switch off your mains.
Switch.
Yes.
Switch off your mains.
I've never paid attention to it as now that fire extinguisher do come with a particular color coding.
Yes.
I have never really paid attention to it. And and I'm looking at some of the information that you shared with me this morning. I just saw the red, blue, black, and green. And they all serve different purposes because although it's all come under the been described as fire extinguishers.
Yes.
But they serve different purpose. And they're used for different purposes also.
Correct,
All right. Yes. And I'm seeing the yellow one. Give us a little bit of description on the one that will have that color coding of yellow.
So that is the foam. That is the foam.
Right.
Yes.
And that one is used on wood, paper, also cloth, and also can be used on grease, oil, paint, and solvents.
All right. So in general, folks who maybe want to purchase a fire extinguisher should know the purpose you want to purchase it for.
Yeah.
Especially your type of business that you have. So you said someone that has a workplace where grease and oil and stuff is more prevalent there that could cause fire. You should probably get a fire extinguisher on that particular. And I'm assuming now, as you as the of course the business establishment that sells them, if someone comes, would you serve them that kind of information?
Yes.
And tell them, hey, what you want it for, what you want to use it.
Definitely.
It's not just for general. They're general purpose ones though.
Yes, definitely.
As goes with the red, I assume.
The powder.
The powder.
Yeah.
That's a general purpose. General purpose. You can keep that one for general.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But then someone comes in and said, hey, I want a fire, not just want a fire extinguisher. There's a purpose for having it for different reasons, depending on your business.
Yes. And that's a good thing about us at the Wireman's House, right? We normally ask the questions where other people wouldn't ask. Because
you don't just want to sell them a fire extinguisher, right? Even though you can do so if you wish to. If you wish to, you can just sell them a fire extinguisher. But it's always good to tell them, hey, the particular purpose you want a fire extinguisher for.
Definitely.
Your kind of business, where you're home and where you do at your home, you will want one. I mean, if someone may just want to have one at their home, so you say, take the general purpose one, which can distinguish mostly all fires. You understand? But there are one for specific types of fires that may occur, or what may cause a fire. So it's more better that you take this particular one.
Definitely.
Right, great.
And the thing with these fire extinguisher, right? They are coded, or should I say they are different like A, B, and C. So also we have a video. So the video can actually show you the different types of the what's the meaning of the A, B, and C.
Okay. So we probably go over to master control, and of course let me get that bit of information from. And you say fire extinguishers come in the terms, not only the color code, but they also in a, should I say, in a particular alphabetical order. In that particular way. All right, good. So master control is over to you. If you have
dry powder extinguishers have a blue panel around them. They remove oxygen from a fire by smothering the flames. They're a good all-rounder, so you can use them to extinguish Class A, B and C fires. It can be possible to use them on electrical fires and on Class D fires if you have a specific powder.
To use the extinguisher, you need to pull off the safety tag to break the seal. Then pull out the pin. Test that it works by pointing it away from the fire and squeeze the handle until the extinguishing agent comes out. Then you need to aim the nozzle at the base of the fire and squeeze the handle. You should use rapid sweeping motions to force the flames to the far edge until all the flames are out. These extinguishers have a range of about 8 meters on average.
It's important that you don't use dry powder extinguishers in confined spaces because you'll risk breathing in the powder.
Right, and that was a bit of an interesting thing because sometimes that information should, of course, if folks take heed of it, and sometimes the distance you should stay with it from the fire and so forth, and the type. And he did mention the powder one which we featured a while ago. And you're saying, if in a confined area or maybe a room like this, you shouldn't really use one inside and stay in there while you're extinguishing the fire. Okay. Anything else you want to share with us?
We also have a next video. This will basically give you a more insight what we was talking about earlier with the color coding of the fire extinguisher and basically what it basically used for as well.
All right. So let's go over to master control once again and then take a feature of that particular one in terms of the color coding as we go.
Here's a quick explanation of the 5 most common types of fire extinguisher and their uses. Water and water with additive fire extinguishers are all colour-coded red on the extinguisher description panel. Basic instructions on how to operate them are printed on the canister. You should only use them on flammable solids like wood, paper, textiles and furnishings. It can be very dangerous to use them on other types of fire. Carbon dioxide or CO2 fire extinguishers are colour-coded black on the extinguisher description panel, and operating instructions can be found on the canister. Although carbon dioxide extinguishers are primarily for use on flammable liquid fires like petrol, oils and petroleum-based spirits, we also recommend them for fires in electrical and electronic equipment, as the CO2 gas won't damage your computer or gadgetry. As the gas discharge is extremely cold, avoid handling the special discharge horn when using. Foam fire extinguishers are colour-coded cream on the identification panel, and again carry basic operating instructions. Larger sizes normally have an extension hose and low-pressure nozzle. They are intended for use on flammable liquids like petrol, oils and solvents. As they are water-based, they also extinguish flammable solids like wood, paper and textiles. Dry powder fire extinguishers are colour-coded blue and are available in a wide choice of sizes and are very versatile. You can use them on fires involving flammable solids, flammable liquids and also flammable gases such as propane and butane. They also work on fires caused by electrical equipment, but unlike CO2, the powder congeals under heat, so can leave a sticky residue. Last but not least, wet chemical fire extinguishers are colour-coded yellow on the identification panel. They contain a special chemical formulation that reacts with cooking fat and cooking oil fires to extinguish the fire, so are a must for the commercial kitchen. You can now buy special foam formulations that are effective on cooking fat fires in smaller canisters for home use. Our 600ml aerosol ABF extinguisher is also effective on solid combustibles and flammable liquids, so is a useful safeguard to have around the home. And remember, when it comes to your safety, come to fireandsafetycentre.co.
All right, so that's it there.
Yes.
And I like the idea because, sometimes, as I mentioned before, lots of folks just think, well, I need a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
It's not always the case. There's fire extinguisher for different purpose.
Definitely.
And as you mentioned in the A, B, and C, and D, there are different types of that would be depending on the type of fire that you have, or what causes the fire per se.
Yes.
Someone will say, well, fire is fire. You understand? Fire is fire. But there are different things that causes the fire.
Yes.
And you understand, and you need what will extinguish a fire properly.
Yes. Because
sometimes not always water works in the fire.
Yes.
You understand?
Because based on what type of fire it is, and you use the wrong fire extinguisher, you can actually make it a little more worse than what it is.
It creates more flame.
So it's always good to use the recommended fire extinguisher to put out the fire.
Great.
Yes.
I mean, and this is really good information to show to our listeners and viewers this morning. You may be sitting in the comfort of your home right now and listening to this, and it's something I probably need for my home.
Yeah.
A fire extinguisher. You're just not going to go out and purchase a fire extinguisher. You understand? And it's happy that the fireman is taking this opportunity to explain that, for potential customers and to our listeners and viewers. There are different types of fire extinguishers. So when you come, speak to a representative at the Wireman's house, and they will certainly share with you the information and let you know the appropriate one that you should actually get.
And also, if I may, if you want any other information pertaining to the fire extinguisher, and also if you would like to know how to use the fire extinguisher, you could also reach out to the Royal Grenada Police Fire Department. right? If you want any more information on the fire extinguisher, and also if you want some training of basically how to use a fire extinguisher. Yes, and also I just want to say a pleasant good morning to Inspector Hamilton.
All right.
Yes, so yes, I had a pleasant good morning to you, who was also my safety officer instructor as well. So yes,
offer you those the information in terms of making the safety of the use. All right, great. Anything in closing?
Well, I just want to tell everyone who has tuned in, it's always a pleasure to come here on board and let you guys know what we have to offer. And I just want to say last week's program was very good. A lot of customers came into the Wireman's house.
Great.
They purchased the tankless shower heaters. Yes, it was a good vibe. Also shower heads. I just want to thank you all. Without you all, there's no Wireman's house. And we appreciate everyone who has been supporting us. It's a great pleasure. And just remember, the number to call is 443-5577, or you can WhatsApp us on 449-5577. You can also email us at thewireman'shouse@gmail.com. And don't forget, we do free deliveries with instant charges.
All right. Anything in closing, Chris? Before we take it out? All right. So I guess that's a wrap for us for today. Thanks once again to our listeners and viewers. Don't forget, if you need a fire extinguisher, you can go down to the Wireman's house, get one, and they certainly will get you one for the right purpose when you go there. All right. Have a good one.
Thanks so much.
All right. Hey, folks, as we take a wrap for today's edition, I'll compliments the Wireman's house on the Mid-Morning Buzz. Goodbye. Join us again for another edition.
Grenada for more great track and field action on May 17th and 18th at the Kirani James Stadium as our athletes strive for supremacy at the Classic Lighting Athletic Championship. Come support our stars as they sprint, jump and throw. It's the Classic Lighting Athletic Championship, May 17th and 18th, Kirani James Stadium from 11 a.m. Start preparing now.
Grenada is indeed beautiful and worth exploring. We firmly believe that you should be allowed to do so. Why not explore Grenada with James Services Corp Off-Road Tours? Whether you decide to explore Grenada with your family, spouse, or large group of friends, we are ready to welcome you. Our tours are guaranteed to leave you with wonderful memories of Grenada if you are visiting, and excitement if you live here. Book a tour with us now by visiting our website www.jamessvcs.com. Call 1473-442-3769 or email info@jamessvcs.com. James Services Corp Off-Road Tours.
I am Dennis James Williams, owner and director of James Services Corp. Looking forward to welcoming you to the beautiful island of Union to explore with James Services Corp Off-Road Tours. See you soon.
Explore our beautiful island of Grenada from an angle that is unique and off-road, but equally fun. We are 100% family-friendly tours.
Boyo, they gonna fly with kite now. The wind picking up. I'm coming. Karim, what you doing? Fly my kite. Yeah, but not here. You can't fly kite near power lines, boy. Why not? The wind good. Because mommy say kite threads conduct electricity. Yeah, kite. He's right. If your kite gets stuck in power lines, it can cause power outages, or even worse, it can get shocked. Come, let's go and fly them in the pasture. Yeah, that makes sense.
Glen, energizing our Grenada.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's the Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. Of course, you have, Mr. I was getting senior moments.
Me too. We should have Urias Peters.
We have Mr. Urias Peters with us this morning. I guess the folks on the Wireman House minds is still in my mind for some reason, but we are this morning. Welcome, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Very, very, very busy. Too busy. Working on our upcoming production called Rivals. That's starting this weekend.
All right. So you have a new production that is out.
Yes.
Can you deem it as new?
Well, it was first written in 1991.
Okay.
and then we did it over 10 years ago, and now we are delivering this weekend.
Okay.
So, but the thing about playwriting is that you can always adjust, you can always edit,
bring it up to the times.
Yes, bring it to the times, and that's what we have done. Because when this play was first done in 1991, we had 8 characters in the cast.
Yeah.
Now I've edited, and we now have five characters.
Okay, okay. So give me a ball by ball player synopsis of how the play rolls. I mean, you can't tell everybody because you want them to come see the play.
Yes,
You understand? Who may have seen the previous one, but no, I'm assuming they may want to have a general view of what's about. You know, maybe just a bit of a summary of the whole play. Tell us a wee bit about the play.
So let me just go back a bit, because this play was a collaboration between the UWI Center, which was called the Extramural Department. That's in Marisho House at that time. I think it's Open House Campus now. Yeah. And they were, at that time in 1991, around that period, they were raising funds. It's called an endowment fund.
Okay.
So I was challenged to collaborate with them and to write a play that will have some sort of reflection on the contribution that the University of the West Indies has made to the Caribbean society. And so I developed the script where this one young man who won the Island Call, he and his best friend, they were in love with the same girl as children. So one went away to University of the West Indies to study law, and the other one remained here. He became a local politician, a community activist, and the young lady who's torn between both of them, she also remained on island. As the play developed, you're going to see the both guys matured in their professions, but what happened with the relationship with regard to the same girl actually creates intense conflict as the play develops. So we are focusing a lot on relationship. We also use the play to but to focus on some of the issues that's affecting us.
Yeah,
here presently.
I mean, I'm listening to the play and how you give that small commentary in relation to it. It sends the everyday life of individuals being in relationships.
Yes.
It's not, and you know, as sometimes we say, it's not one but three of us. You understand? And how the whole synopsis will play out from time to time. Developing that particular place, how was it for you? How was it for you developing this, getting the characters and play and stuff into it and stuff like? How was it for you developing this particular play?
Well, as a playwright, I shouldn't say the word master because we learn all
as you go along.
So because it was a bit of a challenge when I first started writing it, because especially when you give me a topic to write on, it is harder than if it's something
that blank cover.
Yeah. So I had to go through the process of developing the storyline. I mean, quite naturally, you have to focus on the contribution of Yoi. But then I say, if I just go along that line, that would be a boring, straightforward. So I have to add additional complications for the characters and the guy wanting to achieve his goal to go study law, and so I have to put obstacles in the way when you're writing the play. Don't make the goal that easy. That's how we go.
Keep that level of suspense, as some folks would say.
Yes, you don't.
It's not a suspense thriller, but you know, to keep you wanting to see more and get more out of it.
Yep. Oh yeah. So that's how I developed. But what is interesting too is that once you started writing, if you're a genuine playwright, it's amazing how the ideas jump from the page or from the computer into your head. It's like walking through a forest. You do not know the path that's going to lead you out, but somehow you know that you will get out. But however, what I do when I'm writing, I always find the end of the play first.
Yes.
This is how it's going to end. Either Jane is going to marry Tom and they're going to live happily after, or Jane is going to go away and Tom is going to find new love. You must find the end first, because if you don't do that, you'll find you're writing and 90% of the way you've completed, and then you want to complete this play and it's a problem. So that's why when you go to movies or you go to certain play and the end is unsatisfactory, you realize I always say that they did not find the end first. And I'm not talking about the play that's going to have a sequel, a follow-up where they leave you hanging, so you're going to come back or a movie. Yes. So I always find the end and I write backward.
Okay.
And then it becomes
interesting there. You know it's going to end, so then you know what is going to come before the end.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I like that. I like that concept you rolled with. No, tell us where's the play going to be taking place?
Well, it's a Labucan Center production, because our center is on the Kirani James Boulevard. If you go into towards the south or toward Gannons. It's exactly after the Salt gas station, Otway's gas station, in the GCNA building complex up there. It's a very intimate space. Right. We hold about 75 people, so that's why we're starting this Saturday. It will be running for 5 weekends in May, starting on Saturday, every Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Saturday at 8 o'clock, Sunday at 6. Right. And we end on June the 1st, and from there we go to the Luke Cinema on the 7th. That's Saturday the 7th of June. All right. So we upstairs there. It's very intimate. And that's one of the unique things that's of the theater space, because you are so close, you are so intimate, you actually feel as though you are in the action. I remember when we did last year when we did Redemption Time, the play on the Grenada Revolution, and then you created the war and the bombs and the helicopters flying up, and someone who came to Labukan to see that play, they said, Mr. Peters, this play would not have been effective anywhere else, because you're so
get that
close.
realistic vibe.
Yes, and we are using the space where even sometimes the actors can come through the audience to make the entrance and exits, and you interact with them, so you feel that empathy. So that's one of the things. And then apart from that, because the space is small, and we have to run the play for such a long period, the actors get better. Because GT, when you just get your license, you already have.
They always say that's when the driving starts, right?
That's when the driving starts. So when you start on the first day, you have to continue, and every time the character develops and the actors get better. So that's one of the advantages.
Yeah, and they know what the actors and they would know, put more into their character, come through the crowd and be doing it over. Sometimes they may do a little go off script, but somehow for some reason it creates that better feeling of what they do.
Yeah. But when you talk about off script again, I always say I write a play, but I'm the playwright. Yeah. You have about 5 actors, or you have people working with you. They also have creative minds. Yes. And sometimes there's a mistake. They make a mistake by going off script, and something happens, and they realize
it fits in nicely.
But it even fits in better than what I write.
Written.
Oh yes. So I was
you don't have to worry about it to that point.
I mean, after the discipline, don't bung away and show off the actors.
I understand.
But that creative process here is very, very, very. It's very dynamic, and that's how I direct and I put my plays together. So because again, for instance, I'm a man, I'm a male, I'm not a woman. So at times when I will script the play, and there are female characters, and sometimes they may have a big showdown where they have to curse and a nice little bacchanal, and they will come and this female will say, Mr. Peters,
this is not how a woman.
That is how a woman addresses it. That is not how we just do it. So I say, okay, drop the script.
Put your personal touch.
Let's workshop it,
but still maintaining within the
maintaining within the script. And then once I capture it, I go back, I rescript, and I say, okay, this is it, but you have to stick with what we have created there.
Great.
It's very, very. So that is how I work. I workshop the plays.
Now there's probably someone listening and viewing us right now. What is it costing for them to come to this particular?
It is 75 EC.
75 EC.
Yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. And is there an outlet for tickets, or they pay at the door?
Well, you can get tickets at Go to Fet. Yeah. Grenadian Optical, and also at Labukan Creative Center at the GCNA the complex. All right. You can also call 440-1353 or the cell 403-1353.
All right, and it's Rivals.
Yes, it's Rivals.
And of course, the name speaks for itself, more or less.
Yes, 2 young men in love with the same young woman. What's going to happen? Who will win up? And also, we focus a lot on relationship issues. Yeah. Because even in everyday life, we're not talking necessarily only about love relationship. But I don't know if it's a small island problem, a small island syndrome, that me and you have a problem. Yeah. I ain't talking to him again.
Because the word rival is a bit open sometimes.
Yes.
Because it may not always be rival between 2 males and a female, or 2 females and a male. Me and you could have a rival.
Yes.
You understand?
Oh, yes.
And it based on it could create a whole different scenario there right now.
Yes.
So it's interesting that you put that together.
And it's teaching, and I say again that the place for the bottom line is entertaining. Yeah. But then I always see it as an opportunity for us to edify, for us to entertain, and for us to educate. Yeah. And that's what because our motto at Labukan is the arts is education.
Yes.
And that's you might discover part of it in the play too, but you will have heard recently that where the World Bank has given that damning report on the Caribbean education system. Yeah. It's a total failure. Because where we feel here is that you have to teach, the child have to cram, memorize, and regurgitate. But true education is supposed to teach you to think, to analyze, to create, to prepare you for the future. And the play is going to speak a little bit on that. But once you're involved in the arts, I even do a training program at Labukan, even when I teach theater, drama. that's what I try to do, to inspire the students. Let's think. Let's create.
I didn't get that into the first in the previous segment, but is there a rating for this particular play? I mean, is it family oriented, or is a rating?
Whatever I write.
Yeah.
I mean, the only challenge here, I wouldn't advise people to bring a 5-year-old child to the theatre. They might get bored after and want to go after half time. But in terms of all the so-called obscenity, a bad word, of so-called vulgar, the play is really it's family.
So it's open. So folks should bring, at a particular age range, the entire family could come about and enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, when we did Redemption Time, I say, well, listen, it should be 12 and over, because I mean, the play on the revolution, there's some very, very, very heart-wrenching, it's a little bit scary moments which might affect kids seeing bombs falling and people getting killed. So I will say it might be a little bit heavy for children's Redemption Time. But this play, it's entertaining, it is intriguing, there's so many twists, it's emotionally packed, intense, and you want to see. I have one female actor who's coming on to be doing her first paid theatre role. Her name is Damali Phillip. She's playing the role of Faye, who's torn between these two guys, and you're going to see her. We're introducing her. Although she recently qualified. We finished our training program sometime last year, and she was there. So they did a student's production. But for this one, that is where she's coming on stage, on the big stage for the first time. So that's Damali Phillip playing Faye. You have Patrick is played by Samuel Ogilvy.
Yes.
That is the guy who was the local politician.
All right.
That's Sam. You have Alvin, is played by Pianki Toussaint.
Yes.
Pianki is such a wonderful actor. And you have Nen, that's the mother of Alvin, is played by Kathy and James. Kathy is a senior public servant. And then you have Hannah Douglas, who's a teacher at the J.W. Fletcher Catholic Secondary School. She's playing a role of Sonia. So it's a small cast, but it will be
certainly be interesting. Let's just deviate just a wee bit. Tell me about, we'll still keep the conversation on theatre. Have you, over the years, have written numerous plays, you have been here there in terms of the theatre in Grenada. Have you seen it grown, or has it diminished just a wee bit? And what would you like to see the stage that it should be at now? Or you think it should be at now, knowing that there are a number of years that you for yourself have been playing a major role in it? What's your take on that?
Well, there's still a challenge. Because with regards to people who are doing plays, there are not many. I mean, especially I'm going to start first on playwriting. Playwriting is difficult. I mean, I could ask you how many carpenters you know, how many electricians, how many broadcasters you know, how many teachers you know, how many playwrights you know.
That's so true.
Very, very, very true.
You and Chris Riggs and whoever else, that's it.
Yes, it is tough.
Not much.
The challenge again that we have, it's very expensive. People are looking at the theatre. It is a very, very expensive, and that's one of the reasons why Caribbean theatre is going to be in problems, because we still, thank God, we have the private sector here who supports, but everybody is a small island. Everybody goes to the same people for support, and so it's a challenge that So that's why, of course, the creative desk is on now, and there are incentives, but that is a challenge. Again, one of my big disappointment that we need by now. I thought we would have had what is called the theatre space. We had Spice Basket, but that is no longer there. And I'm always saying here that we had Regal, although some people feel, well, hey, there can be parking and it might be challenged, but it was purchased for $1.3 million by previous governments. And we had after Ivan, there was a French architect who was here, the French know about theatre, and they went in and they said, listen, the structure was not damaged, so which means that this has a fairly strong structure. He showed how we're going to move some chairs, some seats, and it could accommodate about 500 people.
Yeah.
And that was my dream. I chose, because it's close to, come from St. Paul's, where they're coming from St. George's, Grand Anse, Springs, it's right there, and it's on the bus route. Mm-hmm. So I really thought that would have been developed, but none of us were consulted. And then boom, here now it's private hands. I wonder how it reached from a government who purchased for $1.3 million, and now it's no longer there. I mean, I think that was a big setback. So
that would have been an adequate place for small theatre and stuff.
Yes, because 500 seats, I think it was really adequate. Because I don't believe in this big, massive theatre space unless it is for concerts, and maybe sometimes you can cut the theatre space in half. But I think it would have been ideal, but that is gone. But I really think here that we need an intimate space to hold 500 people. That's necessary. We need to send people on train also.
Yeah.
Because thank God that
But why are we not seeing more of that in terms of folks going out and training, and especially in theater? I mean, there are places around the world today where folks are making great living.
Yeah.
See if you could say that. You understand, in terms of doing theater and stuff. Why are we seeing Caribbean people gravitate into that as it should?
Because I mean, for me, I personally am a practitioner because I like it. Like people who are a farmer, you're a farmer and you can't help it. You like to take a cutlass or a weed eater and you just go and plant, whether they make money or not. But I guess it's a small Caribbean society. And you don't become a millionaire or 1,000 by work. It's because it's in my blood. But money, we have to see it as an industry that can generate. You have to see it not only just for the performance aspect of it, but for teaching. I did drama in education in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And once you use that method in the classroom, you are going to make your classroom so exciting that no child will say that they hate school, because you make it exciting, you make it practical, a way for them to learn. So you can also use the arts. I mean, from training in order to teach, in order to be a therapist. But I guess we have to start believing here that it is a viable profession, as you say. There are people, for instance, there's a young lady called Rachel Phillip. I mean, she's made it onto Broadway. There's a lot of success stories, Caribbean stories, with people who have made it big. And okay, for instance, even look at, if you come back to Calypso, look at some of our guys. You see Vaughn. I don't think Vaughn is a competition, but he's doing music. It's a killer. A lot of people here. That is an industry that can be developed and can be exported.
Yeah, so but I always say when it comes to talent, Grenada does not lack that at all. No, we don't lack. But just that folks don't take the initiative or grab onto the opportunities that's out there to expand it more for ourselves.
Yeah, but so it had first of all institutions, because you must be trained, because having been talented, talent alone is not enough.
That's so true.
Yeah, the training is important. I say I'm happy for the years I spent at Jamaica School of Drama to build upon what I knew when I left here. Had it not been for that, I don't think I would have developed as much as I have. So we got to send people out there.
I mean, the opportunity to learn things is always important. And you may have the ability to do it, but learning it is also plays a critical role.
Oh yes,
and able to do it right.
Yeah, man. I mean, you look at, and even also even when you're having festivals, when you're having activities to be done, they have to have people who have that professional background, because you look, as I say, something has gone wrong. I don't know if it's in Grenada or in the Caribbean, where everything has to be this long-winded 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. And I saw a good friend of mine recently wrote a Facebook post where you're having shows and it's starting late, you're disrespecting
those whole other conversation.
Yes, and shows, and why shows have to be 6, 7, 8 hours and go running into this long whole night, whole day, and when you come back home, people you are getting involved in accident and the excessive drinking. Shows have to be organized and planned and stick to it.
Yeah, so I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
you can see you starting, and people have developed a concept, because I think promoters and some maybe have encouraged it.
Yeah,
you advertise 8 o'clock, but you don't start till 12. You understand? Yeah. And then folks getting at 1 and 2 in the morning, and then you're trying to please your audience. Well, we are the other, and you go till 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and then there are other things people could have attended.
And people driving home drunk.
Exactly.
Drunk and accident. Yeah. So I don't know why we have this long. I always believe start on time and leave me wanting more than this overkill. It happens in almost everything. Whether you go to a graduation, it's long. You go to a funeral service, everything is long. You go to a meeting, a committee.
I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah. So
what could have been done in an hour or 2 goes for 4 hours.
Yeah,
you wonder why it's been dragged out so long.
Yes, yeah. So that's so again, training is important for running festivals and for professionalism. All those things. So when you come to Babukan, we start on time. 8 o'clock, quite naturally, if rain is falling or people are coming in, you'll give a 5 or 10 minutes. But I guarantee you that we start Maybe latest
on time. Great.
8:50.
And then speaking of time, we are on time.
Yes.
So I want to thank you again, Mr. Peters, for coming. I certainly hope that lots of folks come out to the play and enjoy it. Rival, the name speaks for itself.
Start this weekend.
And then moves to
the Grenville Deluxe Cinema on the
7th of July.
Of June.
June.
Yes.
Okay. Best wishes, sir. Thanks for being here. It's always good to have a conversation with you, and I certainly hope that folks will come out and enjoy the play.
Thanks very much, GT.
All right. Hey, folks, that's going to take a wrap for this edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Have a good one, folks. That's where we say goodbye.